And welcome everyone to yet another episode of The Sims 4 Bustin' Out, where I take builds from The Sims Bustin' Out and I remake them here in The Sims 4. It's been a very long time since my last video, and for that I do apologize. I only get time to record and make content on the weekends, and with other platforms I'm on, it's hard to balance maintaining them, full dark time schedule, and also my own personal life schedule. I really hope to get back into the groove of things here soon, but we'll kind of see how things progress from here. Might still be a bit of on and off posting, but I do want to get a regular schedule going. Anyway, on to the build. If you haven't already figured it out, this is Casa Caliente. As I've talked about in previous videos, my memory of the events of The Sims Bustin' Out is very faded, but every time I bring up images of the build I'm going to be redoing, I still have a hint of nostalgia that makes me want to go back into that old game and try it again. I hope to get my PlayStation 2 up and running again to play through this game, but as of right now, I'm still kind of on the fence of when that's going to happen. Anyway, looking up the images, and I mean the name of the place itself, it made it very obvious what kind of place this was meant to be. I did do some research to kind of remind myself of the goals once you got here, and some of them were based on finding love, getting married, things like that. I don't recall if I ever did any of that. I don't actually recall coming here that often. I feel like I probably didn't. But with that in mind, I did do my best to recreate it in a nice way that still filled up the space because there was a lot of space in this build with just the furniture that it had whenever you first arrived. Now, I do remember that in this corner there was a fish tank of some sorts, and I have seen things where people would kind of cheat, if you will, cheat a tank into the wall itself. So I wanted to test that, especially since we finally got those glass walls to make it look real nice. So I went ahead and shrank down a few different fish tanks here, put in rocks to hide them itself, and then I went ahead and made it just appear like an actual fish tank. I also went ahead and put in these little bubble walls to make it look like that there was bubbles also floating in this tank. And it doesn't you don't see it in this video, but if you were to download this off your gallery and go ahead and stock those tanks, it actually goes ahead and functions and looks, honestly, I think beautiful. So that worked out well. If you ever want a tutorial or anything on how to do that, I'd be happy to do a more slowed down version since this is a sped up video and you're just seeing essentially me click through and figure out how I want this to look. We're moving on to the kitchen now, and once again, the kitchen didn't necessarily look like this in game, in the sense busting out, I should clarify, but I did once again want to go ahead and give it a more updated look. So I went ahead and just did a quick kitchen with counters on each side, fridge, just the standard. And then I wanted to put like a dining area too. And I figured by this fish tank and the record player was the best place to put that. Um, but at the same time, I was a little hesitant on what I wanted to do here. Once I figured out the main floor plan though, and had like best way I can describe it is like the living area and kitchen area all figured out. I wanted to figure out how I wanted to do the bedroom and the bathroom. I wanted to do something different, something I haven't done before. So I went ahead and utilized the platforms in actually both cases. You'll see me focusing here in the bathroom though. I don't know, kind of looking back at it now, if the bathroom's a little weird. You'll see here because of where I place stuff, but I wanted it to feel very full. I wanted it to have 2 sinks because I don't know, just what I wanted to do. But at the same time, it was a little bit awkward to try and place out. I did go ahead and add other things in here to make it just feel like a very heavily used bathroom. Like there's combs, there's hair dryers, there's soaps, there's things everywhere. Um, yeah, you'll see here where I jammed the shower kind of in the corner right beside the tub. I don't know if that's really a good idea now looking back on it. Feels a little bit weird. But all in all, I am happy that I made I guess the best way to describe it, a different looking bathroom. Now here you'll see me moving on to the bedroom where once again, I wanted to build something different. I wanted to go ahead and utilize platforms again. I wanted to make it something just different because I always do like just a one flat bedroom, usually bed in the back corner, whatever. But I didn't want to do that in this case, and I really saw a chance to utilize I guess, the animal print wallpaper from the Love Struck pack. So I went ahead and utilized that here. I think in uh Bustin' Out they had some type of animal print wallpaper. I don't think it was cow. I believe it was actually like a zebra print if I remember correctly. But I did go ahead and use that, and then I did actually make the bedroom something that I was also kind of proud of. It wasn't heavily decorated, if you will, but it did look nice to me. I didn't want the hallway to be completely empty either, so I went ahead and added a bookshelf there before I went ahead to move on to the patio space. In the Sims Busting Out, they did have I guess, a patio or a back fenced-in backyard, side yard, whatever you want to call it, with a pool. And I think they had a hot tub too. I don't remember. I don't think I put one in here. Maybe it was just the pool. But I did want to just give us a nice little pool space with lounge chairs, an umbrella. I wanted it to just feel like a nice place to come and hang out. Um, of course, like I said, I made it fenced in and everything just because that's how my brain personally works. Like, if you want a pool area, you kind of want it fenced in or in a backyard area where people can't just, go willy nilly jump in. Um, and then once again, we had all this extra space that I didn't know what to do with, so I went ahead and added like an outdoor grill bar area too. Because once again, why not? I did add in a few different decorations too, just to make it feel more complete, if you will. After that, I decided it was pretty much, I was happy with everything. I thought it all looked good. I think I also just kind of wanted a break before I went back and tried again to make sure everything was where I wanted it. So I did go ahead and break for landscaping. I've developed, honestly, a new love for landscaping ever since I started doing this. Granted, I know I'm still not the best. I'm still putting things pretty much willy-nilly here and there. Um, but learning that I could use the debug menu and just find all of these different plants was probably one of the best things I ever could learn, and it makes it so much more fun. I won't say it's the greatest thing out there, and I really wanted to utilize things that just made it feel like the yard was slightly overgrown, or not overgrown, but like not well maintained, if you will. But I ultimately kind of decided against that because it also just doesn't look good at the same time. But this was supposed to be like a little love house. I figured lots of flowers, lots of plants, things to make it feel lush and pretty. That's where my mind went with it. After that, you're just going to see me pretty much finishing up the terrain paint. I always put terrain paint around my builds because I want it to look like, essentially, you don't always necessarily have grass right up against houses. Sometimes you do, but most times you won't. So I put a little dirt at the round edge of every house. And then I figured, well, I do still have all this yard space, so I might as well do a little bit extra and go ahead and add in like planter boxes, make little areas for the Sims to go outside and enjoy outdoors besides just the pool area. I've done this like pergola thing before. I don't think it's been in a video, but I've done this pergola thing before where I make a pergola, a nice backyard, of over the fire pit, and just the place overall that's really kind of nice for your Sims to go outside, sit, enjoy themselves, have a fire, things like that. There's just a lot of space on this lot, and I didn't want to leave it all empty just because that doesn't feel right to me anymore. So I did go ahead and try to fill up some of that space. I definitely have a long way to go before I actually master that, but I feel like this is a step in the right direction. Otherwise, I just went ahead and filled it out with more plants because I feel like you can never go wrong with plants no matter what you're doing. But essentially, this is the build. I hope you guys enjoyed watching.